let's be real. If you're trying to buy your first home in Ontario, the market can feel, well, pretty much impossible. But there's a new proposal on the table that could be a massive game changer for that journey. So today, we're going to break down exactly what it is, how it works, and most importantly, what it could mean for you.
Let's just start with a number that has everybody talking, $130,000. Yeah, you heard that right. That is the maximum potential savings we are talking about here. I mean, that's a figure that could completely change the down payment game for thousands of people.
So this isn't just some small discount we're talking about. The whole idea here is to build a bridge to make the dream of actually owning a home accessible again, especially with this crazy affordability crisis. So let's get into the nitty-gritty of how this whole thing could actually work.
First up, let's unpack the mechanics of this thing. Where's all this money supposed to come from? Well, it all starts with a tax that you're probably all too familiar with.
Okay, so whenever you buy a brand new home in Ontario, you get hit with the 13% harmonized sales tax, right? The HST. As you can see, that's made up of an 8% slice that goes to the province and a 5% slice that goes to the federal government. This new proposal, it targets the entire 13%. And wow, the impact is pretty shocking when you see it laid out side by side like this. On the left, that's the reality right now. A home price with a huge tax bill tacked on. And on the right, that's the goal of this proposal. For eligible first-time buyers of new homes, that entire HST burden could just vanish. Of course, a rebate this huge, you know it's going to have some rules attached. To qualify, you'd have to be a first-time home buyer, and this only applies to new builds or homes that have been massively renovated. And a couple of crucial points, it has to be the place you actually live, and to get the full rebate, the home has to be valued at up to $1 million. Now, this is where it gets really interesting, seeing how this translates into actual dollars. Look at this. For an $800,000 new condo, that's over $100,000 in savings. And if you're looking at a $1 million new build, you hit that maximum of $130,000. That's literally years and years of saving you potentially wouldn't have to do.
Okay, so I know what you're thinking. This sounds absolutely incredible. But, and this is a big but, before you start calling up developers, there's a really important catch we need to talk about. This is not a done deal yet. Which brings us to the big question, probably the one you're yelling at the screen right now. Can you actually go out and claim this rebate today? Is this thing official?
The short answer is no, not yet, and it's so critical to understand this. For now, this is just a proposal. The government has announced they want to do it, and there's a lot of political will behind it, but it hasn't actually been written into law.
But the motivation behind it, that's crystal clear. As Ontario's finance minister put it, the goal is to make life more affordable for the hardworking people of Ontario. So that really signals they want to see this thing through. Okay, so here's the crucial part, the timeline. Think of it like a set of dominoes that have to fall in just the right order. Ontario has basically tied its 8% provincial rebate to the federal government's plan to get rid of its 5% portion. That federal plan is tied up in a bill called C4. So simply put, Ontario can't move forward until the federal government passes their law first. Both pieces have to fall into place for the full 13% rebate to become real. All right, so let's imagine all those dominoes fall perfectly. Let's assume this does go through. This would easily become the most powerful tool in a first-time homebuyer's toolkit. But it wouldn't be the only one. Let's talk about how you can stack your savings. Yeah, think of this HST rebate as the superhero of your savings plan. It's designed to work right alongside a bunch of other programs that already exist to really maximize your financial power.
So let's look at how you could stack all these benefits together. It's almost like a four-step strategy. You'd start by saving tax-free in a first home savings account. Then you can borrow from your RRSP using the home buyer's plan. When you're closing the deal, you claim your land transfer tax rebates. And then for the grand finale, you'd add this massive HST rebate right on top of everything else. And here are those other tools in a bit more detail. You've got the FHSA, which is just a fantastic way to save tax-free. There's the home buyer's plan for your RRSP, and there are even things like getting a 30-year amortization on a new build, which helps lower your monthly payments. Every single one of these plays a part in making that first home purchase just a little more manageable.
So beyond what this means for you, the individual buyer, what is the government actually trying to achieve here? Let's zoom out for a second and look at the bigger picture for Ontario's economy and its housing market.
From the government's perspective, this is a four-part strategy, and it's all connected.
First, by making it easier for people to buy, they hope to boost the supply of new homes being built. That, in turn, keeps construction workers and skilled tradespeople employed. And because housing has such a huge ripple effect, that stimulates the entire economy. And finally, all of this is designed to give families a much-needed financial break.
So at the end of the day, this proposal is a huge swing at the housing affordability crisis. And while it still depends on a few key steps to become reality, it really does represent a potential lifeline for so many people. So the final question really is for you. With a potential $130,000 on the table, how does this change your path to home ownership?